Nothing like, oh, Jesus. Nothing like starting the show and picking fuzzies off.
Yeah, well.
We're doing kind of our, loosey-goosey intro here.
Oh, gotcha.
Loosey-goosey?
Are we on now?
Was that like your turtle head popping out? Because it was 70 degrees and it came out?
Are we on now?
Yes, we're on.
All right, so I've decided I'm going to cave to social pressure, and I'm gonna.
You gonna wear your diaper?
I'm gonna put the diapers on, and I'm gonna put the mask on, and I'm gonna get the vaccine, and I'm gonna.
You can't even do it.
I know, right?
And I'm gonna get the booster shot, and I'm gonna I'm getting the booster shot.
The booster shot at the booster.
And I'm getting the other booster shot.
He's gonna hurt himself.
Or me. It's gonna.
I know. You better watch out. Look, you already lost one.
I can't breathe.
I doubt.
Warning. The views in this program are based on the opinions of hosts and guests. We are four friends who like to sit around and talk about a variety of topics. This show may be political in nature and may appear one-sided if no one of opposition joins in on the conversation. We try to find common ground.
What happened?
Warning. The views in this program are based on the opinions of hosts and guests. We are four friends who like to sit around and talk about a variety of topics. This show may be political in nature and may appear one-sided if no one of opposition joins in on the conversation. We try to find common ground on sometimes sensitive topics. So grab a beverage of your choice and let's have a conversation.
Not sure. I can't hear nothing
We're
through
gonna
the
try,
mics.
Try one more time. Doing it. All right.
No, it's in there.
Apparently our intro doesn't want to work. And
Apparently-
we have no audio.
See, that's because I'm a serial
Technical
killer.
difficulties.
No, we have audio, but it wasn't playing. That's
It's
weird.
in there.
No, I can see it here now. It
I
shows that we have
So
it.
did we have audio during my?
You can see it here now. Well, they can hear us. We just can't hear the commercials in there.
Why is that doing that? That is bizarre.
Doesn't matter. We just won't play it.
We're not. Yeah.
Welcome to socialism.
Unfortunately,
Sorry.
I don't think socialism
This is what
had
it's
anything to
like.
do with that. But
This is what socialism like when your speakers don't work.
yeah,
Can anybody hear us? Just out of curiosity. 'Cause,
Oh, see, Christine says not the diaper. Hi, Christine and
hi
Ken,
everyone.
Kenny and Dad and Mom and Christine again.
Can you guys hear us?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
I should probably get where I need to
We
be.
got some weird stuff going on.
Stop
here.
looking at John's diaper in
Don't
his
worry.
face.
There's nothing
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to listen to.
Well, if you go to my Facebook Live thing that just happened, in the first picture you see, obviously something
It's
happened.
pretty funny.
There's been lots of things happening so
That's
far.
true.
All right. So welcome everybody to Coffee Table Chronicles. It is Friday, January 21st,
Ooh.
where John just officially passed out on set.
Yes.
Woohoo. Oh, but it's episode 22 on the 21st.
Well,
What are we doing? Sorry.
That's the question. we
Welcome to
asked
my
everybody.
life. What are we doing? But what are we doing on February 22nd of 2022? And it's a Tuesday.
Well, I know you're going up to Sedona, right?
I don't know if we are, but we should do something.
we should do something.
We should do
Yeah.
something.
I totally
It's a
agree.
special day.
It's a special day.
I mean, how often does it come around?
Like a million years.
Uh,
Stop asking technical questions. That's mean.
there are no technical questions.
There are no technical
right.
questions.
Man, I'm all over the place tonight.
You're a
This-
mess.
The
Oh.
audio thing just screwed me up
Well,
big time.
I can't even get
Lack
from
of
the
production.
link. I cannot get onto YouTube from our link.
Really?
From Facebook.
Well, these people,
Yeah.
these lovely people can, I think. Are they
Yeah.
on Facebook?
I think they're on Facebook.
I'm going to go to YouTube
Let's see.
from our link.
from our link, it keeps kicking me off.
No, they're on YouTube. Everybody's
See,
on YouTube.
they're on YouTube.
Even John, you're on YouTube too.
I'm on YouTube and I'm on Rumble.
But did you
I don't
go
do the- I don't do
did
the-
you go from the link or did you go from
I just
YouTube?
the link that we shared on Facebook. It keeps
That's what
kicking
I'm
me
gonna go
off.
check.
the link
Oh,
is broke?
please.
I don't go onto that Facebook thing.
Did they kick me off? I'm
Well,
trying to
I
link
mean,
right.
if-
This link right here.
Yeah, if we're
Okay, I'm gonna
sharing
try
it,
it.
I
Yeah.
want to make sure that it works.
Nope, I'm good.
You're good.
It works.
You're broken.
You're broken, Wendy.
Well,
What did you do to get in Facebook jail? Like, was it your shirt?
I don't know. You're the one that put it out there.
That's
is
true.
she in Facebook?
It
Are you in
usually is
Facebook
me.
jail?
Are you YouTube jail?
Are you in YouTube jail? They won't let you in YouTube?
I don't know.
I'm the one who figured that was going to be the first out of the group to go.
All right, we got a packed show tonight, so we probably ought to get going.
Get
here.
your stuff
All
together.
right, we got some memes of the week to
Okay.
kick it off with.
Kick it off.
Good with that?
Yeah.
I keep seeing this one pop up. It's funny. Democrats warn the Republicans plan to steal the election by blocking Democrats' efforts to steal the election.
Yeah, right?
What the what?
Huh?
Do I need to
The
read
Matrix.
It? Read it. It's 1984 all over it. Do you get it?
No.
Democrats warn that Republicans plan to steal the election by blocking Democrat efforts to steal the election.
That was seriously like a news thing?
It's a meme.
It's
Oh, I was like, are you
it
for
is-
real?
It's funny, but it's also
Terrifying.
partially true.
Partially true. right?
Yes,
Exactly.
that's why I was like, is that a for real thing?
I saw this. This is freaking awesome. You might be cool, but you'll never be 111-year-old World War II veteran Richard Overton smoking a cigar, drinking whiskey, and brandishing a Thompson submachine gun. Very cool.
Nope.
Yeah, you'll never be that cool.
Never be that
I'm
cool.
not even going to be close.
That is freaking awesome.
Dang.
I love this one. When the child at the table draws something terrible, but the adults pretend that it's amazing.
Great. So nice. That is the best house we've ever seen. Good job. Please don't shit at the kitchen table.
That's the best ice cream cone you've ever drawn. So John and I actually doubled up on this one.
Oh, that's the best.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's just so.
But he doesn't have his, but he has, he does have his mask off and he didn't get the Rona. So he's not that cool.
This is I just thought this was funny because this is so true.
Oh.
but it's true.
It's true.
Seriously, put a music on the Prime van and we'll all stand out there and wait.
Right? This is so true too.
That's true too.
That's
As we
awesome.
found out.
No,
Yep.
that would be the media.
Well,
True.
CDC was the
Yeah.
same thing. They were saying that we miscounted 75% of all COVID
True.
cases,
Very true.
but they aren't
Yeah.
backing down the numbers.
This is good too. Why vaccinated people dying from COVID-19 doesn't mean the vaccine.
I love him so much. That's
And the best
hilarious.
part was the fact that it had the COVID, information thing on the bottom. I'm like, okay, that's just
I love
sweet.
that. That's the best one.
That's
Well, wasn't it Brian who did the meme? And then he sent it back to them and was like,
Yes. Yes.
seriously. So he posted something and then they were like, this is not abide by our standards. And so he was like, why?
Because
they
it
were
was
like,
just humor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, it's
we were
good.
we were just kidding.
So a friend
It's
of
really
ours-
okay.
A friend of ours got put in Facebook jail for something he posted. It was clearly supposed to be a joke, just a meme. And yeah, he got put in Facebook jail for it.
Well, he was getting his hand slapped and he
was-
challenged it.
He challenged it, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
and he won.
If
So
you hear
we
a lot of background noises, because we got fans.
Oh,
blowing
shit, I
in the
gotta turn the
studio.
fans off.
I was like, what is that noise?
Sorry, it's because I was on live.
All right, let's head over to some news of the week, shall we?
News of the week.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So I got a lot here, so I'm going to try and blow through it pretty quickly. COVID-19, social life, Democratic voters support harsh measures against unvaccinated. Have you seen these? This was a poll that was done earlier in the week. They are all fine with finding Americans who choose not to get a COVID-19 vaccination. Citizens should remain confined to their homes except for emergencies if they don't have the vax. Federal and state. This is a legitimate thing.
People are
This is
getting
actually-
ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. Federal and state governments should require that citizens temporarily live in designated facilities or locations if they refuse to get the vax. Fine or imprison individuals who don't do it or post anything on social media, radio, online, digital publications. Require unvaccinated citizens to use a smartphone app or wearable device that tracks where they go. And the best one, temporarily remove parental custody of their children if parents refuse to take the vax.
What?
Yeah, this was actually there was people that
Where is this at?
So this just proves to me that it's truly not about your
This was
health.
a poll that was done this week, and they polled just Democratic voters.
Just random, yeah.
Oh,
And
just
this is-
Democratic ones?
Yes, and this is what
They
these
came
were
up
the-
with.
These were the questions. I actually read the actual questions, and they had a lot of good responses that said, yes, I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that, including taking your kids away.
Wow.
I don't have kids, but come and try to get them.
So did you see that Howard Stern had ripped the unvaccinated and said that they should all just, be kicked out of the hospitals, go home and die?
I'm good with that because none of the unvaccinated people are in the hospitals, fucker.
Did you see that Meatloaf and Louis Anderson died?
I did see that. Very, very sad.
I saw Meatloaf did. I didn't know Louis Anderson did.
Yeah, he did
Wow.
yesterday.
So my dad sent me an interesting email. I'll talk about it later when we're done, but it happens to be about Meatloaf.
Okay.
Not the meal.
In the economy front, IRS is no longer interested in your money alone. They will soon require you to submit biometric data to access your account online. Yep, they want facial recognition.
What the fuck are we
What?
doing?
Yep. The WHO
So it's time to go back
says-
to cash.
WHO says that children don't need booster shots. If you haven't seen that information, that actually happened. Horrifying story.
Well,
I was
aren't they just on the initial vaccinations?
Children should have just gotten their first one. Yeah.
Yeah, but the WHO is saying that children should not get the booster.
They shouldn't have gotten the first one.
So, well, that's a different
I
story.
know. Touche.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was weeks ago.
I know. I'm sorry.
An 11-month-old, you see, with the rampant
What?
crime in America, 11-year-old got
Hmm.
shot in the face in the Bronx yesterday.
How
we don't
did-
need.
how
We don't
does
need
that
cops.
happen?
Totally fine.
Oh my gosh.
We're someday going to get back to the 15 most bizarre things the TSA confiscated in 2021.
We need to.
Yeah, we
the
need some.
Biden administration is tracking federal employees that are requesting religious exemptions. They're saying that now 15 government agencies are tracking their employees that are requesting religious exemptions.
Track me. What are they going to track?
You're telling me that doesn't violate a handful of
Yeah,
things
All
in
of
the
every literal
Constitution?
thing you've said violates everything other than the 11-month-old being shot in the face.
And then you saw that Schumer orchestrated his own crushing defeat in the filibuster fight. It's an interesting thing because there are several of the political pundits that think that he's doing this to try and ward off AOC from taking his Senate seat.
Ah,
God.
interesting.
That
So
hooker
this
got
whole
COVID.
thing-
That makes me
This
happy.
whole thing has become political theater just to try and save Chuck Schumer from getting
Mhm.
defeated by AOC. And then
They both need to be gone.
and then with MLK's birthday earlier this week, I just thought that I saw this and I thought this was a great thing. Cowardice asked the question, is it safe? Expediency asked the question, is it politic? That's the way he actually put it. And so vanity asked the question, is it popular? But conscience asked the question, is it right?
Mm.
And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic nor popular, but one must take it because it is right.
I agree with that.
I like
100%.
I 100% agree. My follow-up question to that is, do people even know it's right anymore?
They're just
do
following.
they
They're
have that little voice inside their head that says, maybe this isn't right?
They're not thinking on their own. They're allowing others to think for them, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. Do they even know it's right? Do they even know?
They're just following whatever someone's telling them.
So sad.
So that
sad.
is the news of the week.
Man, that's crazy.
I love you, Indy.
Socialism.
Dun, 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 dun.
So what else do we want to do before we jump into socialism?
We got a lot to cover with socialism, don't we?
We have a lot to cover.
This is by the way, this is going to be a 2 or 3 part series. So just so
Easy.
everybody knows.
So get ready.
I always like this. So this is actually from
So why did we want to do socialism? Just so everybody knows.
because of the fact that there seems to be such a large. There's been a handful of polls that have been done on college campuses, and those in the 18 to 29 range, it's like 30 something percent think that socialism would be a good thing, and it might even be higher than that.
So we were actually talking about that last night, and I yes and no. I know there's not a yes and no answer,
Yeah.
but yes and no for me.
Yes and no what?
I agree with it.
That socialism would be a good thing?
Yes. And no, that's what I'm saying. Some parts of it I like. I like the fact that there is free education.
Okay.
I know it's not necessarily free, and I'm not talking free education all the way through your doctorate, but for people to be able to get an associate's degree, 4 years of college, 2 years of college at a community college, I think is what we need. Have you seen high schools? These kids are retarded when they come out.
So college is going to make them smarter?
College is going to help them be smarter. Yes.
Free college is going to make them smarter?
No, it's not. But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's yes and no.
But college isn't for everyone. I mean,
It's not. School isn't for everyone either.
right. I mean, we have the trades out there, and micro is a huge.
Exactly. That's a 2-year school. So that would 100% be covered.
Yeah, but
So your welding trades and your automotive and your truck drivers and all that.
But let's look at something deeper, though. You know, you talk about socialism. So what?
Do you want to go into the big thing of us?
We give away free education to people. So all right, so community college is what, another four years of high school, right? Basically, if it comes down to it.
Usually 2.
What are
Community,
we?
right?
He's saying
Two,
the
I'm sorry.
equivalent, the
Yeah.
equivalent
Of 4 years. So, but the question comes down to is what are we teaching in these schools? It's not, we can give free education all day long, but if we're teaching them crap and we're teaching them to be, communists,
So,
it's
Well,
what's
no,
the
I mean,
point?
If
it's still
that's-
going to specialize just like it is now. Like if I want to go for science, if I want to go for politics, if I want to go for get to be a teacher, to be anything, to go for welding, anything like that, you have to specialize.
But
So
to-
it's not
but to
necessarily that
John's-
general education.
But to John's point, though, they go around polling these kids. Half these kids don't even know what socialism really is.
They don't.
When you
All they
start
know
really
is free
deep
stuff.
questioning them, they have no idea how to answer the questions.
So the first thing is I would pose is, shouldn't we reform our education system
Absolutely.
and stop?
Absolutely.
I mean, when we're at the, Chicago Teachers Union is a prime example of what's happened in the last handful of weeks, when we are at a point where we are being held hostage by teacher unions because they don't want to go to school. And yet, on the other hand, all they want to do is teach the bare minimum. And the idea is that, and correct me, I can't say it, Pythagorean's theorem or whatever.
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean.
What does that have to do with being able to get up, go to work, do your taxes, pay your bills? Let's teach in high school or in school in general some of the basic concepts that you need to have, including life skills that you would need for a particular career choice
Trade.
that you want, trade, whatever you want to do it. Some high schools do that where they have and so why don't we expand on that instead of having to worry about, I mean, there should be history and math and things like that need to be, but we get into some of these things that I think are probably a little bit on the outdated side, and we've just always done it for the last 100 years that, or not even 100 years that high school has been a requirement, and go and just fix it to where we are better preparing our kids to be able to go out into the real world than those that are smart enough or have the desire or the drive to be able
Keep
to
going to school.
to go to school and become, but we need to stop. And we're starting to notice the shift in those that are, we're seeing this glut, I guess is probably the best way to put it. We're seeing this glut of kids that all of a sudden have gone to school and the best they can do is get a job at McDonald's.
Well, and think about when you went to school, did you have home ec
I was just going to bring up that point.
or
Yes,
woodworking or
Yes,
automotive?
I took
Right.
woodworking
Yeah,
and realized
okay.
later in life
Did
I
you?
should have taken home ec.
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we had
We didn't.
really.
Did not. Did not have home ec, did not have woodworking, did not have automotive. We didn't have to take it. We didn't have to do any of that. And I think that's where it started to shift.
Well, we didn't have to. It was an
It wasn't even an
elective.
option.
Right, it was an elective,
We didn't
right.
even
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah,
Really?
home ec would
Yep.
teach you how to cook, how to sew, how to
Right.
do
And
stuff
little
like
stuff
that.
like you don't have to be a chef, but you could
Wood shop.
make a grilled cheese. You could make spaghetti. You could sew a hole in your pants. Like
and we had.
it also taught you how to balance a checkbook.
Did you have an economics class?
Yeah.
So we had economics too. Taught you about the
Mhm.
stock market. Taught you how to.
Did I
You know.
go to it?
Well,
That was
so
one of the classes I chose not to.
Therein lies the problem, though. I mean,
So here's
And
the
you want to
thought.
know what? I went to the class 3 days and I passed every test and I passed. Thus is the problem.
but you didn't learn anything, though.
But
No,
why
it
are
has
there
to
certain?
test.
But I guess the question, the other part of that, and we're getting off the topic completely about socialism.
Yeah, that's
and we
life.
need to have a topic on education at some point. But it's not beyond kids to do it, because why are there certain cultures that can? Why are there certain cultures that are stereotyped that they excel when others don't?
Because they don't have to, because we're lazy, and that's the expectation we put on them. And if you don't kick your kid in the ass, you ain't gonna do nothing.
And so here's a thought: are we, as our parents, actually teaching socialism to kids instead of, as we were growing up, if we wanted money, we went out,
You had
we
to go
worked
work for it.
You got a job, you were going to school, you were working. How many kids these days work while going to school?
Exactly.
Most parents, I don't want them to do that.
I want them to go to school
it
only. That's
teaches-
awesome, but you have Saturday and Sunday.
Well, and I think it teaches those life skills too, how to, one, manage your money at a very early age. It teaches you how to deal with other people in a work environment, and developing a work ethic early instead
Absolutely.
of, in their 20s, when they've been so accustomed to living off of mom and dad.
And I just go to them and say, "Oh, I need something," or I don't even go to them and I just order it on Amazon.
So Christine said that she took a home ec and a shop class.
They were forced to. They didn't have a choice.
They had no choice. That's awesome.
Christina, did you take a shop class? Do you know how to do woodworking and mechanical
You
stuff?
should. You absolutely should. This is why these girls have no idea what to do with their car when it breaks down and nobody can change a tire. This is ridiculous.
It's not just girls, though.
Trust me, I know. Men with man buns and sandals. They can sit on the side of the road. Your man bun and your sandals. Seriously? Sorry.
All right, turn me off for a second.
Turn you off.
Okay.
Because I wanted to, it was interesting. So in doing research for this, I found some very amazing things that, how do I want to put it? The whole, just some different perspectives on what the socialists think. So we can turn this back on. Now, this is very interesting, and not to get too deep into it, but it is, I found it just amazing in the fact that, so this talks about it's a comparison between the three, socialism, capitalism, and communism. And this, I think, is from more of a socialistic view, but it talks in, and I'm not going to go and read all the captions, but it talks about how over here, the capitalists, everything is run by, big business is the way they kind of, put it. The means of production is controlled by the capitalists. And so the capitalists, they want to make it sound like it's big business, the oligarchs, the Jeff Bezos, basically. And then here under socialism, it's kumbaya, everything is controlled by the workers. And over here, it's, everything is controlled by the workers. Yeah, right. We know that everything is fair in China, right? So
yeah, those workers are equally
here,
shit on.
And so then over here, people are standing in line to get jobs, but, and they use automation everywhere to be able to just make it so that there's less workers. But then over here, they, both of these, they use less automation. So that way everybody's got a job.
Including children.
Including children. Under capitalism, they said that the workday is stretched to increase labor and productivity, blah, blah, blah. Under socialism, they try to work as little as possible. Under communism, it's just a universal work condition. I do want to point out for those that want socialism, the idea is that you have to work. You have to work. There is no free lunch. You sit on your ass and the government just pays you. You are required to work. So
when my MS gets bad and I'm in a wheelchair and I can't physically drive or go to work.
Well, and I'm sure that that's extenuating circumstance.
Then I get to sit in a homeless shelter with them because I can't work.
Like we talked about before, I think, China, if I understand their economy correctly and what I've been reading, about them, and now their whole age bracket, their average age has gone up. It's increased, and so now the decades of one child per family has.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
So now the idea is that they're allowing 2 and 3, and they're actually trying to encourage it. But the thing is, you get paid, you get
The same amount.
They're not going to be able to support
Nope.
raising extra children.
So they are paid a certain dollar amount to take care of housing, food, blah, blah, blah. And then they have basically an allowance that they're given for their discretionary fund, blah, blah, blah. And so in that, they found that the people are saying, I don't have enough money in my quote unquote discretionary fund to be able to afford a second or a third child.
Right.
I decline.
I'm good with my one. Yeah.
Yep. And that's all they want. And so now they're finding that that's not quite working the way they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was interesting because it's,
So where did that particular picture come from?
I don't know. I don't exactly know where it came from. All I know that it was interesting because of the fact that, people are waiting in line to be able to get jobs, yet, we're also automating it to do that, but we're also stretching the workday out. So that way we're hiring less. And I'm like,
I don't know if I believe all that.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be, but that's the way that, this was the best
portrayed
from all the different things that I've read. This is the one that kind of put it all in an easy
perspective.
to look at nutshell for how they perceive the evils of capitalism.
Right.
And so, all this other stuff, it's, who runs it, whether it's run by one person, whether it's run by the workers, whether it's run by, government, obviously this is one of the reasons why I thought it was a socialistic view, because it's, it's a flower and all kumbaya, but going back to my, some of the things that I had picked up on socialism. Sorry, I feel like I'm just taking control here.
That's okay. You are.
You have all the all the knowledge.
So there was, one article that I was reading about all the radical leftists on the POTUS staff. Oh, this is actually, I was watching that's what it was. I was watching the news conference earlier this week. The president was on for almost 2 hours.
Oh my God.
And I give him credit for the fact that he was fairly lucid for the 2 hours. It was definitely not the shit show that it had been in the past. But he did make some gaffes, and they did have to backpedal on quite a few things for the next 2 days. To, again, he has a very vague view on the international stage of what's going on. And so, and they've, I've heard several political pundits that have shown examples that he has for the last 47 years that he's been in Congress. Apparently, the general joke was that whatever Joe Biden votes for, you vote against.
Right.
Because he has no idea about foreign
what
policy.
he's doing.
But it just seems like that
Awesome.
that I started to realize that two things. One, I think that his staff, because he clearly has a staff that is telling him what to do, right? When he goes up there and he goes, I'm told I'm supposed to call on so-and-so, and I'm told I'm supposed to call on so-and-so, and I'll get in trouble if I stand up here and answer any more questions, and, all that kind of stuff. So he clearly has a staff that's telling him exactly what he's supposed to be doing. I'm starting to worry that his staff doesn't care if he gets reelected. They're worried about just burning the candle at both ends until they can't get what they want done anymore.
Yep.
Regardless of him, they're just trying to push whatever radical agenda they want.
Right. And do it as quick as
possible. He's just the empty fossil. That's
he's the fall guy. I have said this from the beginning. I feel so bad for him. He is the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
This poor man needs to be in a nursing home. Get him a grilled cheese and tomato soup. What are we doing to him? This is not right.
But this is what they wanted. So
tell me if you had Grandpa out doing what they have him doing, and tell me they wouldn't be upset with you.
So I looked up Bernie Sanders has made this such a political football ever since he was running in 2016. So
get your mittens out.
He was out there on Saturday Night Live and pointing out, socialism, and he'd go democratic socialism. And so I looked up democratic socialism, and a lot of this is actually off the United States Democratic Socialism website.
Nice.
So capitalism is a system designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. I thought that was an interesting thing that they put in there. And it's like, okay, so besides the fact that you can go out and you can start your own business and do whatever you want.
For $87, just so you know.
And so it's all this different types of thing. And they put in here, it's, many avenues that feed into the democratic road to socialism. I mean, you go and you read their website and some of the other adjoining websites, and it starts to, I don't want to sound very conspiracy theorist or whatever you want the word to be. It sounds very George Bush that way, right? And so I'm making up my own words. And but it does seem like they want a lot of it to come crashing down, so that way socialism will be the thing that saves us. And so I was doing a lot of reading on France.
Read this. Sorry.
I shouldn't have left it up. Now Lindsay's actually.
We want. I was reading the whole thing. Third paragraph down, y'all.
We want a democracy.
We want a democracy that creates space for all of us to flourish. Totally great. Not just survive and answer the fundamental questions of our lives with the input of all. That makes no sense. We want to collectively own the key economic drivers that dominate our lives, such as energy production and transportation. You tell me if you think it's a great idea that the government owns energy production and transportation.
Absolutely. And so there's a lot of things that I have final thoughts on this at the end.
We want the multiracial working class united in solidarity instead of divided by fear. Why is that not everybody? Why do we want the working class? Why do we not want everybody in solidarity?
Right.
Why are they dividing us by that comment right there?
Well, again, it's to try and so they're painting the picture of this utopia to entice more to come to their way of thinking.
Right.
Besides the fact that socialism has not been proven to work anywhere with any great degree of success in the world. So did you know that France at one point had tried socialism amongst other countries?
When was this that they tried that?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. You weren't prepared for follow-up questions?
No, I actually know this, but I don't. There's a reason why I can't answer it right now.
Okay.
So that being said, France right now is currently on what they call the Fifth Republic. This is as of today, they're on their fifth constitution.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
Because France has tried and failed so many different, and it's ironic that the fact that Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, when they wrote the Constitution, the vast majority of the Constitution, some of it is based off of France's. And the thing is the fact that France has failed their government so many times, and it's overturned. I mean, even as late as after World War II, they had to rebuild a new government. And then they almost redid it again back in the 2000s. They almost had a sixth republic government redid their constitution. And they have, as of now, their current constitution, 2/3 of it has been rewritten since it was enacted after World War II in the 50s, I guess, early 50s. So it's interesting. I mean, there's a whole thing on France.
So we want to win radical reforms like single payer Medicare for all, defunding the police, and refunding communities. You tell me that when an 11-month-old is getting shot in the face that we don't need a police officer.
Right.
Just saying.
Right.
The Green New Deal, which can suck a wiener, and more as the transition to a freer,
more just life.
A freer.
So, and again, it comes back to the rules for thee, not for me, is part of the issue. Because so in reading a lot of this.
But it's a democracy powered by everyday people.
Right. And
the capitalists tell us we're powerless. I'm not sure how that has anything to do with anything. I go to my job to work for me to pay my bills. If I have a problem with my pay, I look for a different job. I don't know what that has to do with me being powerless. That has me having all the decision in my life.
Welcome to being in a republic.
Right. And you can make the choice to
go look for another job.
Because
if I'm not happy with my $12 an hour.
Because if the government pays for your free college to go and become a diesel mechanic, and you decide, nope, I want to be a nurse.
You don't have that option.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure they made you sign a piece of paper that says
You need to be
you're
a
going to
diesel
be a diesel
mechanic.
mechanic
Yep.
for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Doesn't this sound like Hunger Games?
We talked about that watching 1984 last night because Hunger Games had a lot of similarities to it.
It does.
Mhm.
There are lots
Yeah.
of different things throughout, in movies and TV and such that weaves in and out of the whole and touches on the whole George Orwell type thing.
Mhm.
And Hunger Games is very much like that.
Mhm.
Supposed to be a utopian.
You
And then,
were told that you have to be this and you have to be that.
Hunger Games, everything is utopia if you're in,
Mhm.
what is it, sections?
Yeah,
certain
section
sections, yeah.
4 or whatever
Sections
it is. Yeah.
1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
everything is kumbaya, right?
Yep.
Yep.
4 and 5,
And
not so
6, 7,
much,
8,
not
9,
so
10,
much.
11, 12, I think it was. It
Are there
gets worse as
12?
it goes around. Yeah,
Yeah,
because she
something
was
like
in
that.
12.
Okay. So that being said, what do socialists believe in? So I was looking this up, and this was something, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. In general, socialists believe that the government should provide a range of basic services to the public. But then it comes back down later and it talks about Bernie Sanders' platform, Medicare for all, and it talks about tuition-free college. When is that a basic need? I mean,
Tuition-free college is not a basic need.
why do they, Bernie talks about
Bernie needs to put some mittens on and shut up.
he weaves in his conversations, and I've looked up a little of some of his
Mhm.
speeches and stuff, and he talks about bread lines, and he talks about all these different types of things, and
And we're not going to do that again.
No, actually, he says he likes bread lines.
I'm sure he does.
He said he likes bread lines because of the fact that means people are getting bread.
And I'm sure he's not
Are
going to
you
be one
serious?
standing
Yes,
in
that
one.
was his
He'll
philosophy.
never be the one.
Yeah,
Bread
right?
lines are good because that means people are getting fed. So they're getting bread, they're not going hungry. Where in this country, people go hungry, and he makes it sound like millions of people go hungry. And I know that there are other
There's
things.
so much food in food banks that sits there and rots because people won't go and get it.
And so, and Wendy and I have had this discussion before, and she knows that I'm a soft-hearted person. For when I do charity things, my first and foremost go-to is always food banks.
Right.
And I've gone and my kids had to do community service for their high school that they went to, and they both went to the food banks and did their community service. And I mean, my oldest son talks about a story that he'll never forget, in the fact that he met a classmate who needed the service of the food bank. And so he's walking the food out to the car, and she says, well, this is kind of embarrassing. And he goes, and he had, I give him credit. He said, no reflection of you. Everybody has a tough time every now and then, those types of things. But it did open his eyes to the fact that
could be your neighbor next door. You have
not
no
everybody
idea.
has the same economic situation that you do.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
And just because you're living in the house next door, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily making it.
and I feel that there is, from a strong capitalistic views, pro-American, the way it is, I still think that, basic safety nets are
Need
something
to be in
that
place.
should be in place.
Yep.
I have no problem with that. The big issue, and I had said this in several episodes before, about God, don't let John become president. And I said that there are things where I feel that, unfortunately, and we're seeing it now with the people that prefer to just sit on their ass and get paid by the government, whereas there are those that take advantage of it.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the issue. And that's the issue where I think a lot of people say it, and for whatever reason, we just don't verbalize it. We don't put it out there that we know people are taking advantage of it. I don't know why people won't say that. So we need to do better at making sure that those that can't can be helped, but those that can do for themselves, they have to get out there and they have to do it.
Absolutely. So I already pre-warned my family that they were going to be part of my topic today.
Ooh.
So
Can you toss
Not
me
in
that rag real quick?
not in
Wendy?
a
I
bad
spilled some
ooh.
coffee.
not in a bad ooh and a good ooh. So again, talking with the fact that people are abusing the system. So I 100% think that food banks are a great idea. I 100% think that we need housing assistance. 100% think that there needs to be shelters and stuff because shit happens.
And
But we
Christine,
have those in
Christine, we
place,
just need
right?
to fix that.
Exactly. You have the husband that beats the crap out of his wife and she needs to leave. You 100% need to have those places for people to go. But in 6 months from now, when her husband's not beating her and she has a job, she doesn't need that assistance anymore. The things need to be reevaluated. And I don't think they are appropriately. And that's where the issue comes from. So you have people, let's say me for an example, I got let go of my job. Okay, crap happens. But if I wasn't able to find another job, I would expect that I can get some help to at least take care of my basic necessities. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose my job because of a situation like that or whatever as I look for another job. But there's a time limit on that. Like, you don't get to live on unemployment for months or years. Like, that's not an option. That help needs to be there when shit happens. What happens if you get into a car accident and you break your leg and you can't work? Like, that's great, but you can't live there.
And I don't think
people
that
are
there's-
living there.
And I don't think there's anybody out there, regardless of what their political affiliation or their philosophy
Beliefs,
is,
yeah.
that they are against that. I think that everybody that I've ever talked to, heard from, written what their philosophy is, has said that they want to just cut it out from under everybody. And that regardless of those that try to accuse certain political affiliations that they're trying to just, cut out the lower class or the poor and just say, figure it out on your own. That's not true.
No, they're trying to put everybody equal.
And socialism tries to paint that picture too, that capitalists are just out for themselves,
Right.
and
No.
everybody else is tough luck. So that's part of the thing. So, if you can't look at it from, and I know capitalists is on the same token, sit there and they talk badly about socialists, and they obviously talk bad about the communists because
It's going to hurt them the most.
well, you always talk bad about the other side. So
exactly.
that is the case. But
But they are
George
also
Bush-
the ones that contribute the most to, I don't want to say social programs, but organizations that are designed to help.
Statistically, those on the right have contributed more to charitable donations and things of that nature than those on the left. But on the flip side, well, no, not even on the flip side. You're absolutely correct. But I forgot where I was going to go with this. There was something about something that George H. Bush said. I can't remember for the life of me.
Okay, well, let me finish and you can think of it. So my problem is that we have all these people going for these programs, which the programs are great. I'm not against the programs, but you have people who don't really need it or need it because they choose not to go back to work. Then we have people like my family who got into a crappy situation. Everybody is working who can, but they can't find a home. They can't find a program to help them with the down payment. They can't find a program to help them get into a house. And you've seen housing prices. You can't rent a place for less than $2,000. Right. You want first month's, last month's, and a deposit down? That's $6,000. Do you have $6,000 sitting in your bank account?
And there's no denying.
In an oh shit situation. Like, you're planning for this great, but.
And there's no denying that it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But there's no
terrible.
system out there that's perfect.
No, but it's not even, it's not even close.
But it's worse now because we're in unprecedented
We're enabling
times.
him.
No. You're taking a system that's already been tapped because it's been abused to the limit. And now you're adding what happened with COVID and people losing their jobs
and enabling
left and
everybody
right,
with
the economy
that
the way it is. So now it's just overburdened.
Well, the system's
I would
overburdened
agree. Yeah.
for years.
Because so many people
just
took
on
advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
that was just on a normal
exactly.
situation.
That's what I'm saying. But you add this to this now. and that
Exactly,
makes it
because
10 times
you
worse.
look at the mom who's a single mom who is making minimum wage, and you go, wait, I can make $400 more a week to sit at home and do nothing. Oh, I'll do that. Thanks.
Yeah.
And for any of those that want to go back and look, there's an Adam Carolla interview. I'm sure it's going to find it in any YouTube, Rumble, whatever. That is a great thing to watch just because it talks about how he had a single parent, just his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a comment to her once, probably around, grade school time, maybe just junior high, and said, Mom, why don't you go out and get a job so we can get a better car or something like that? And her response was, why would I do that? I'll lose my welfare.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And he remembers that because he said that was the point where he realized he was going to need to get a job because he did not want to be
Nope.
just sitting on
Like
his
that.
ass,
Yeah.
watching TV and on welfare.
Right.
So I had a girlfriend. I was early 20s and we bartended together. So she went and got herself knocked up. Shit happens. That's great. She was still working, taking care of her kid, got money, blah, blah, blah. Comes one day and says, "Oh, if I get pregnant again, do you know how much money I'll make
Right.
for having 2 kids and being a single mom?" And I was like, "Are you serious?" And she said, "Yeah, I think me and my boyfriend are going to try." Gets herself knocked up. And I was like, "That's awesome. So now you have 2 kids. You're going to put yourself in a worse position to where you can't take care of your children so that you can get more money a month." We were no longer friends.
Well, and unfortunately, that has become, I don't want to say the norm, but that's how
Acceptable.
people have become so reliant on the government then to give them money to, and instead of them being self-sufficient and teaching that to their kids, then this is what we're teaching is
Absolutely.
just to
Is
live.
that you can just sit at home and do nothing because the
Right.
government will give it to you. It's fine.
Right. So it doesn't make their life better. And that's the sad part that they don't see is they will never get
that
to
better
a
car.
better level because of the
Mhm.
the thinking and just staying on welfare.
Yep.
You're not gonna
You're never
go
going to
up.
succeed in that.
You're
No.
never gonna
And-
go up.
And therein lies part of the main downfalls of socialism in the fact that it looks at it from a very narrow lens in that it feels like everybody's going to participate and at the same level. Everybody's going to participate at the same level for the entire common good.
Yep.
And yet we've seen, everybody's aware
Like the
of,
Bezos and the, Gateses and, all those people, they're gonna come down. No, they're not.
well, I mean, and let's pick on Amazon for a quick second.
Okay.
So Amazon has a policy, and I was reading this article, I don't know, a couple months
Right,
ago.
Christine?
So Amazon has this policy that they sit there and they rate how long it takes to do a job, what the slowest person is, and what the fastest person is, and then they figure out an average.
Yep.
And everybody has to do that average or they get fired.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's causing a lot of stress because some people are having a hard time, obviously the slower ones,
Right.
staying with that average.
Yep.
So what happens to them? In the socialistic society, what happens to those people that can't do the average? Do they get to work just less? So what happens to the people that just naturally work faster? Now they're working harder than those that don't.
Mhm.
And it comes right back around to that old adage, that story that everybody's heard about, the professor that sits there and gives everybody the average grade.
Right.
And next thing you know, everybody's failing the
Everybody's
class.
failing the class. Right.
So, it all comes back to that is the socialistic experiment. And we're seeing it now. I mean, we're on our, what is it? We're on our 20th month free trial of socialism. And, we're still having.
When can I unsubscribe?
Well, that's what I want to know, because right now we're having record low participation rate as far as employment in this country.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
Can I
it's-
100% agree with you?
It's ridiculous because of the fact that we can't get people to go to work. And yet we have, those in government, and everybody in government lies. We could pretty much take that
To the bank.
that take that assumption, either one political philosophy. But now we have the president who's up there touting that the government could not be, the economy couldn't be better because we have record number. Well, they're counting from the dip in March of 2020 on and saying that record number of jobs have been created. Well, yeah, because everybody was sitting on their ass at home for 2 weeks.
Right.
Because everybody was fired because you closed everything down.
So now they're counting that everybody as record number job creation.
So if you were on furlough and you came back,
That's
that
a new
counts-
job.
That counts as a new job.
That counts as
That's
job
not a new
creation.
job. That is an existing job that
Right.
is now
You were
being
furloughed.
filled
Yep.
again.
It doesn't matter. That's
Well,
the way they're counting it.
essentially, that's what my job was. So my job, my position she retired, so it was an easy position to not fill. They just didn't fill it. So my position was on hold essentially all through the Rona because they didn't need it because the hotels weren't busy.
Mhm.
So essentially, was I a new job
As far as the
or
government
was I just a
concerned,
filled position?
as far as the government was concerned,
You were a new
a
job.
new job.
Right.
Not a new job though. They just
But
didn't
that's the
fill
way
it.
they want to count it. That's the way they want to count
So
it.
See, and I
crazy.
think that
Again, it goes
I'm a
back
numbers
to the meme
person, and
of
I
the
think
way
that skews it to
That makes your average off.
well, Wendy
Right, it's
said it in
not
the meme about measuring the snow on top of the
Mhm.
fence.
Mhm.
That's the way the government was measuring jobs.
right.
Yep.
I mean,
So-
I'm a numbers person, and it does not make sense to me. It's skewed to make things look better, but it's not the true. I mean, you can slice and dice different ways.
Before we go on, I have a question for you guys, and it's a serious question.
Mhm.
All the social programs, and I agree that there's a need for them, but the people that are sitting home on their asses collecting a paycheck, not doing shit, do you think if it was in front of their face that the reality is the people that are really paying for them to sit home is us? Do you think they would
No.
have a change of thought? Because it's never portrayed that way. It's never
No,
said,
it's
hey,
the
by the way,
government taking care of you.
you're sitting on your ass, so the taxpayers are paying for it. The people who are working are paying for it. Do you think if they really knew that they would have a change of heart, or you think
No.
it's just
No,
You
because
honestly
they
don't think it
think
would
you
be?
make so much more that they
They need it from you. You're entitled to give it to them.
right. It's the
You
Robin
haven't come
Hood
across these
philosophy.
people that
yeah.
you deal with that they don't care about everybody else. They
Yeah.
only care about themselves.
Yeah.
I'm usually not friends with those kinds of people, but
But
Yeah.
you run into them in everyday life.
you do. But I mean, there's a huge majority
Well,
of
and
people.
then
who-
and then you get the I'm entitled. I'm entitled
Right.
because
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
either a race thing or it's a gender thing or it's an age thing or I'm entitled.
So
You worked, but you have to take care of me.
to answer Christine's question, it's
It's
on
ridiculous.
the surface, it seems very unfair, and I don't know any of the details behind it. So, I mean, nobody can live on $24 a month.
No.
And then, but the question becomes, what is disabled? And I say that
100%.
because I had a relative got into a car accident, ended up in a wheelchair, had paraplegic and only partial use of one arm.
Yep.
One hand. He went and became a 911 operator.
Yep. So my doctor has told me more than once, why don't you just go on disability? MS technically is a disability.
Mm-hmm.
I can get disability. I don't feel that I can sit at home and do nothing knowing that I can do something like your friend that's
The 911 operator.
the 911 operator. I tweaked my job in the hospital to learn the back office because I was worried if I end up in a wheelchair, I can't work on the floor. I can't physically take care of patients. So I changed my career path from taking care of patients, which I loved, into more office based because if I'm in a wheelchair, I can still work. I can
So-
still type. I can still answer the phone. I can still do all that.
So what I had forgotten and I couldn't remember and I do remember now is actually so Bush 2.
Yes.
So
It
W.
drive me crazy, Christine. I believe you.
So W famously
As in, whoa.
famously said that we are not a true capitalistic society. And he was panned for it on both sides.
I
of the
believe that. I believe we're not true capitalistic.
And we are not. We are not a true capitalistic society because of the fact that we do have social programs.
Yeah.
And so the idea was that, we should, going back to what I said earlier about, flipping the federal government on its ear, and instead of paying all these IRS agents to come and get money out of us, we should be paying and quadrupling, tenfold, whatever you want to call it, the general accounting office and have them go after where all the money's at.
Where it's all
And
going.
Where it's all going, where it's
Follow the money.
where's all the fraud, where's all the waste,
Why are we
where's
paying
all the-
$20,000 for a
And then-
toilet?
and the same token in the fact that we have all these bureaucrats. I have seen them. We've all seen them that sit there and they are just
Stamp
stamp the thing and moving on, and they're not doing their due diligence to make society better. And yet they all are the bleeding heart left liberals that want society to be better. Yet, unfortunately, there is the stereotype that they don't even want to do it. They won't put in the effort themselves.
Of course not. But think about it, and this is terrible. We were talking about this at work today with somebody. You're in your job 10 years, 10 plus years. Do you have that motivation to be your best? No. You do your job so you don't get fired. That's where they're at. They're doing their job just enough to not get fired.
But we are in a highly mobile society, meaning the fact that we can pick up and change careers pretty easily, especially when you have a career that, if you've got a government career, a bureaucratic job where all you do is let's pick on the DMV, because everybody picks on the DMV. Let's pick on the DMV, and you're the person that sits at the counter every day,
checks people in
40 hours a week. You got a cush job, you got nice vacation, you got nice benefits, you're looking at a good, pension plan after the fact. But I bet they also are paying if you wanted to go to college and better yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you can go to college and you better yourself.
Because it's a government job.
Go to trade school, learn, all of a sudden you decided, I got this job because I knew somebody, something.
And I needed something after high school.
I got in here, and now all of a sudden I decided I wanted to learn welding, plumbing, whatever. Yeah. I just want to be an accountant, whatever the case may be. I want to be a lawyer. You can go to school and you can become that. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you don't have to have that job. But those aren't the people that take those jobs.
Nope.
Right.
They're the people that sit there and
that's why they offer to pay for your schooling.
I hate my job.
But I'm just going to do it anyways.
I'm just going to do the bare minimum. Again, going back to why socialism doesn't work, because I'm going to do the bare minimum
so I don't get fired.
I feel like I'm not getting paid for what I'm worth. Well, you're getting paid for what you're doing.
Yeah. You're not getting paid for what you're worth because you're not doing what you're worth.
It's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
So, well, that was my job.
The bare minimum?
No, I took the job straight telling my boss that I'm only taking this to learn to move up. I won't stay here. And she said, absolutely. This is a huge company. Learn what you can and move up. And she's already she's teaching me everything, all different aspects of it.
I am so going to have to go back and watch this because I feel like I'm debating pretty good when I'm drinking. So
drink more. Okay.
Drink
more. But my cup's almost empty. So
Bernie always talks about Norway. And I did way more research than I ever thought I would ever do on Norway. But Norway actually I now want to go visit Norway.
Okay.
So Bernie always keeps talking about Norway and how Norway is the example that we need to get to. So it was some interesting facts. Norway is ranked the second wealthiest country in the world, monetary value per capita. So relatively small population, yet they live on the same economy as like Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
It's all oil. So they had a ton of oil deposits found.
I didn't know that.
Found in the 60s. And again, because it's a relatively small, it's not like they're sitting on the third largest oil reserves in the world like Saudi Arabia is.
It's a tiny place. Yeah.
It's a tiny place, but they found enough to be able to fund all these socialistic programs.
Yeah.
So one thing, and I didn't highlight it, I meant to highlight it, but something that was in here that I was talking to Keith about it yesterday, which was crazy. They have a 46-week paid parental leave. 46 weeks.
That's crazy.
No, is that for...
I love my boys. I think it would have drove me nuts if I was looking for 46 straight weeks.
Almost a whole year, huh?
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's 6 months, 8 months.
52 weeks is a full year.
So it's 8 months.
It's like
10 months.
It's like 11 months.
Oh, shit. No, I'm good. Thanks. Would you go back to work and then it's happy birthday? Like what the?
Right. So, I mean, it's just crazy.
I think 12 weeks is plenty, more than
the standard of living in Norway is among the highest in the world. They have what is considered the most stable economy in the world, according to several magazines. Now, it's a subjective thing, so you don't really know. Public health in Norway is free. This is one of the things that Bernie keeps talking about.
Right.
But the thing that they don't talk about is that you have to pay. Every person over the age of 16 has to pay 2,000 kroner, which is their equivalent of whatever a dollar is.
Yeah.
So did you look that up and see how much that is?
No, I did not do the conversion. But 2,000 kroner is what they have to pay first towards their health care every year to be able to.
So it's like a deductible almost.
So that's your-
But then that, well,
So you pay
that's kind
2,000
of
kroner
essential.
a
I mean,
year
you could
for
sit there and You could
insurance.
slice it that way because yes, there is no deductibles. There is no.
But they pay higher
pay.
taxes overall.
They pay huge
Yes.
taxes. They pay something like a 70.
They get
I forgot what it was, but
Yeah.
it's like a 71% tax.
yeah.
So one
Their take home
Norwegian
is-
kroner is 11 cents.
That's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money.
So
Not a lot of money.
But see, the doctors don't get paid much
2,000
either.
kroners
So,
is 225.
Yeah, they have a
bucks.
low unemployment rate.
But again, what is their
But it
What
says
are they
right
getting
here,
paid?
the state income derives from natural resources, including a significant contribution from petroleum products that was discovered back in the 60s. Now, the big problem they're having is the fact of the entire world is trying to
Thanks,
figure out
April.
how to get
April's
off of petroleum products, and Norway's starting to panic. Because guess what? Their whole economy for the last 60 years has been based on that. And now all of a sudden they see the light at the end of the tunnel that this is going to stop. The ride is coming to an end.
Coming to an end, right?
And it's like, all right, now what do we do? And so that's becoming an issue. I put in here large reserves back in the 60s. It was an interesting one of the other things they used to have. They still do technically have a mandatory draft.
Okay.
Come.
They call it not consignment. It's there's another word, conscription. That's what it is. There's a mandatory conscription, but they've relaxed it over the last handful of years.
Say, what was the last battle they fought?
They actually had people
World War
in
II?
Afghanistan up until
Oh, really?
21.
Oh,
So
wow.
they
Didn't know
were-
that. Didn't know that.
So Norway was one of the contributing members. Like I said, I know more about Norway than I thought I ever would. They were one of the first countries. They were one of the very first countries to sign up for not NORAD.
John's having a
North-
stroke.
Yeah, I am.
It's all
apparently,
those
apparently
masks.
all of a sudden
It's-
the alcohol is kicking in.
Oxygen
Usually
is
it's
oxygen
but,
deprivation from all those diapers on his face.
Yeah.
Yes, I still cannot breathe correctly. But the North American, it's NATO.
NATO.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So they were one of the first countries to sign up to become part of NATO.
Nice.
Didn't know
So
that
yes,
either.
they did. They were part of one of the countries that had, I think, from what best I can tell, they were in Afghanistan in 2021, and they were one of the countries that had to evacuate like everybody else.
All
I
right.
think we just had a history lesson.
For real.
Right? You want to know about France?
No.
That's a whole nother topic.
Oh my God. So, I mean, so basically these were my final thoughts as I was sitting here and writing all this out and doing all the research. And I said, if we want big government to take over our economy and our industries, let's look at some of the past examples. So this goes back to some of the things that
Absolutely.
we were talking about. Let's look how
Mm.
great the VA had been operating for years, broken for years, and nobody wanted to fix it. What was the one thing that ended up fixing it? And I'm not trying to promote Trump, but this is something that I had actually been saying for years before Trump became president. And it was only him that started doing it, is he gave them the option.
To
If you-
go to private
Go
If
where
places.
you
else?
want to go to
Yeah.
private, go
Do
right
it.
ahead.
That was
Yep.
the best thing that ever happened.
We have
Best thing that could
so
have
many
ever happened.
veterans that are sitting there waiting years.
I could have said, I mean, my twist on it, the whole thing was shut the whole VA system down
yeah.
And make them all
and just give them a card.
Go wherever you
So
want.
here you
Yeah.
go.
I don't
can
know.
go
You have
wherever you want.
access and you can go wherever you want, but
I don't
you
know if saw that
can't.
comment earlier.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. Give them a card and just
Yep.
let them go wherever they want.
Same as access. I
government-
can
the
walk in
government will
with
pay for it.
access.
The amount of money we waste on hospitals
Mhm.
and everything to be able to make the VA system
Nope.
work when we could just print them a card and we'll just pay the bill. I don't know why we do that.
And the
Why do we
and
not
the
give
standard
them-
of care is subpar.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's terrible. Well, because you have 900 people trying to go to a 100 bed hospital.
Right.
I mean, it's never going to work.
Oops. I didn't mean to highlight that, but it is, and we're not worried about
That's
it.
okay.
How many examples of mask and social distance mandates that have been broken by social and government elites?
Every single one.
Right?
All
How
of
many
them.
times do
All
we
of them.
see this? And it's so the rules are good for you,
Not for
but
anybody
it's
else.
but I'm above that.
Do as I say, don't do as I do.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, that becomes part of the other
I'm entitled.
problem. The problem with socialism is because you get those that they think they're entitled.
Mhm.
You know, AOC, prime example, right? She sits there and bitches about the fact that her grandmother is still living in Puerto Rico and, you know, doesn't have power, yet she's getting paid X amount of dollars.
Yeah, why isn't she shipped her here then if she's so worried about her?
Grandma, let me get you a plane ticket. Come on over here.
Or help solve the problem
you
down
know,
in Puerto Rico.
right?
Or help
something,
fix
you
her
know?
mother's house.
You know, well, that's the other part. And Wendy's 100% right. You're in a position to be able to go and do some trips and figure out what's going on and call
people
attention to this.
Or,
And
or help be
she's more
part of
inclined
the
to take and go and get headlines because she wears a dress to the
that
Met.
says their
that says,
tax on
"Eat
my
the-"
ass.
No,
be,
eat
be
the
a part of
rich.
the solution, not the problem.
Yeah.
Right, as she drives around in her Tesla.
Yeah.
I can't afford a Tesla.
I can't afford a Tesla neither.
I wouldn't want to afford a Tesla.
No.
You know?
Right?
And you can pick whichever administration you want, but all of them at one point or another have looked you in the eyes and lied to you.
Straight to your face.
So you're telling me that you want them to run your life, tell you what industry can do. Another little interesting history note. This is something that had nothing to do with, as Wendy is painfully aware of the fact that I like documentaries.
Yes, he does.
And so a great documentary. And I'm also fascinated with the industrial side of World War II.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that happened, so we know FDR had the New Deal and all these things that he was doing to try and get us out of the Great Depression.
Mhm.
And so he was the great socialist. The idea was the fact that when time came that we had to prepare for war, he had spent most of his presidency putting his thumb on industry and heavily regulating them to the point to where, you know, our army was something like 12th in the world. Our Navy was like 6th or 7th in the world. I mean, our military was pretty poor. And so what he ended up having to do was he had to turn to industry and said, all right, I'm taking the reins off. You guys go do whatever you want to do. Just make us guns, planes, tanks,
Yeah.
whatever,
ships,
yeah.
whatever. And let industry do its thing.
Yeah.
Let them do their American capitalistic ways.
And how much do we benefit from that?
And that was the whole thing. But
Huge.
the beauty of it was the fact that even FDR, the great socialist, realized I cannot run a wartime economy this way.
Mm-mm.
I have to be able to take the reins off and let them just go, or
Yep.
we will just die as a country.
Not only that, but look at the women in the industry. in World
Busted
War
out
II.
because there was no men
How many
at home.
jobs they had.
Oh, absolutely.
And still
Crazy.
ran the families
Yep.
and still ran the households.
Absolutely crazy.
So, I mean, those are just great examples of the fact, you know, and when I put in here lied, I could not help myself. I had to put in there, I did not have sexual relations with that. I mean, if that is not the greatest lie ever.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Yeah.
face
I
it.
mean,
I
that
mean,
was
so
on
many
prime time.
politicians on both sides lie.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and and I'm not putting up with, I'm not excusing anybody. Every one of them has lied.
They should think of themselves as an example and be better than
Yeah. And again,
Everybody
better.
else.
Just be
Yeah.
better.
and so going back to recent things that have been happening, again, if you think that big government is going to be a great opportunity to be able to,
Oh my Lord, baby Jesus, Christine, no. Oh my God.
Oh, we would
Oh,
all
shit,
be.
no.
You'd be
Yeah.
a lot of trouble.
absolutely not.
Lord.
No, Christine, go back and watch
We would all
episode
be in
like 4
trouble.
or 5 where I said that I should not be president. God, no.
I'll be president.
Oh yeah. Just let me be the chief of staff where I can be the puppet.
You can
maker.
be in
Yeah.
charge of the military.
No. Oh God, I would love that.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh man.
you would.
So
Wendy can be in charge of. You can be Peppermint Patty.
Oh hell
No.
no!
You'd be great at that.
No, she would
no,
not.
you would be good.
She
you
would-
would be
oh,
good at that.
Did you read her shirt?
I
For anybody
That would
that
be
just turn that
shut
off.
down.
Turn that off for a second. Turn that off for a second. And so Wendy's got to stand up.
Kind of stand up.
Or she just moves the whole
The
table.
whole table moves.
So Wendy's got a shirt that says, "I'm an intelligent, classy, well-educated woman that likes to say fuck a lot."
Yeah. And you're gonna put
That's my
me in
PSA.
Peppermint
That
Patty's
would
job.
be her at the podium in the press room. fuck you, fuck you, and you. I'm not even gonna fucking answer you.
And she thinks I would be better.
Well,
That's funny.
I'd be like, shut up, you're a hooker. Next.
But again, if we think that the big government would be so much better, we already want the government who's sitting there under the guise of trying to prevent those that are skipping on their taxes. They want to see everybody that has a transaction more than $600.
Yep.
So you get paid.
$600
They're going to
in a
know
month.
about
Yeah,
it.
they want to know everything. They want to know exactly what you're going to get paid. They want to know every amount of transaction that goes out. They want to know everything.
Yep.
And this is obviously, you can't say that if the threshold is $600 down from 10,000, that's what it is now. If anything over 10,000, the bank has to report it.
Yeah.
So you're saying that now you're going to lower the threshold from 10,000 to 600. This is to catch the elites.
Yeah.
You're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
Bullshit.
You're lying. I don't care. You're lying. And now, if those that don't know, the Federal Reserve is currently today looking at a policy of converting to a digital dollar.
Of course they
What?
are. We've been talking about that.
Yeah, but now they actually.
So pull out my cash out is what you're telling me?
So
But
they
it's not
want to
gonna
make
mean
sure that
anything.
everything
Cashing
is
could be worth
digital,
shit.
and they would know every single dollar you spend everywhere.
They know
You
that
go-
already.
You go and you buy that 5-cent candy, they're gonna know.
I buy my 79-cent Polar Pop and they're going to know.
Yes, because guess what the next thing is?
well, we've been
If they're
conditioned.
gonna pay for your health care,
I'm paying for my health care. Fuck them.
They're going to
If
control
they're-
what you eat.
they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah. You
control
can't
what
get
you
that
eat.
soda anymore.
Going back to, Wendy and I are both from Chicago, and there was a short period of time where they were taxing everything
The
that
fat tax,
Mhm.
the
wasn't it?
fat tax.
The fat
Yeah.
tax. Remember
And
that?
they
Yep.
were taxing.
I remember when there was no more sodas in school, when there was no more chips, when there was none of that. You couldn't even buy them in the cafeteria.
Well, that I
Yeah.
agree
So I mean, and,
I do
and
too.
It
they
was,
But-
again,
repealed that.
it was
didn't
for
they?
the public good.
They
So,
repealed
again,
it, didn't they?
They did repeal it. It
Yeah.
only lasted about 6 months. But
Yep.
the whole idea was the fact that, again,
You're
It's for
choosing
the-
what I eat.
yeah, it was for the public good.
I can choose what I want myself. Isn't that the same as our vaccination for the public good?
Right. So,
You're going to upset me. Stop it.
again, going back to the whole thing about lying to us, because again, if big government you think can do a better job, as of today, there are still over 100 people, Americans, trapped in Afghanistan. As of today.
Still?
Well, if we
Yes.
think our government can do a better job, where is our court cases for our people from January 6th over a year ago?
Right. Well, that's another one. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is, if you think the government would do
There
a
you
better
go.
job,
Oh, Lord. No,
this is
Dad.
the same government that gave
Oh, no.
the Taliban a list of the people that are trapped in the country
Mm-hmm.
They gave them a list.
Jesus.
Get out.
under the premise of, well, we're letting the Taliban know these are the people
These
that
are
need
our
to,
people.
leave
and
them alone.
they need to be allowed safe passage through.
No, what you did is you
That's
put a
gonna
hit out
be-
on them, basically. Is what you
Right.
did.
So you gave them a
Fucking
list of who
dumbasses.
to look for.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you very
You
much.
put a
I
hit on
can't.
them.
And we gave them all the ammunition too.
So Dad wants to be the ambassador of goodwill under you and me.
We need to get Dan a shirt that says says fuck a lot.
He doesn't, though.
And you're right, Christine. We
Very-
won't have a
Very
say.
true, Christine.
No.
We're
Not
going
gonna
to
anything.
let everybody else think for us. And
As we are right now. We
Let's take a
already
look
are.
and I brought this up last week. Let's take a look at California. Not only does California want to institute their own healthcare system, they want to ban the federal healthcare system, ban the healthcare systems of of what your company may have elsewhere in the country. You could be Banner Health, and you have to have their state-run healthcare system. You could work for a hospital and you have to have their healthcare system.
Yeah.
You could work for a healthcare
What the
insurer
hell?
and have to have the state-run healthcare system. How screwed up is that?
Yes.
And they want to be able to prohibit you from being able to see. They want to conceal what the administration is doing as far as running it
Yeah, I'm sure they
under
do.
the premise of HIPAA.
I
Right?
understand why so many
What?
people are moving out
Under
of
HIPAA? How are
California
they
to
going to do that
other.
under HIPAA?
Because of the fact that if you can see how the healthcare system is run,
I'm not getting into protected health and care information. I'm not asking about John's information.
That doesn't matter. They want to hide what they're doing.
But HIPAA doesn't allow them to hide what they're doing.
HIPAA doesn't allow you to be able to have
No.
vaccination requirements either. But
No.
That's true.
So, I mean, the whole point is the fact that, these are, again, if you think the government would do such a better job, look at these look at these examples.
Good examples. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the government is not set
They're not
up.
on a very good run
They're
already.
not set up to be the ones that can run any of these types of programs. And there's been no government in the world that has ever done a better job at running any of these types of programs.
No matter how much they convince you they can.
So what do you what would be some good solutions to take what we have now and make it better?
You know what a good solution would be? And I'm going to go back to, I think, the point that this all stems from. Our government's too goddamn big, and they continually overstep their bounds.
I would
Yep.
agree with that.
Our government now
Needs to go
is
back
not
to the
what the
States.
government was intended for. We all know
Nope.
that. We all
Yeah.
can agree on that.
Yeah.
All I got to do is open my mouth and you're ready to stop and listen.
No, I
oh
was-
my God. I mean, my point is, you're absolutely right. The whole intention of today's government, federal government, is to perpetuate itself.
Right.
That's it. That's its whole goal, is to perpetuate itself. Everything it does is to keep those in power in power. Everything it does.
I
is-
hit it with the wrong button.
Oh
See what
my-
happens
oh
when I
my
try
God.
to do it.
Oh.
Cancel.
What
Thank
the
you.
heck are
I was trying to show her thing and I hit, because I'm doing it backwards, so I hit the wrong button.
But that's its whole purpose, is to perpetuate itself. That it's not to serve the greater good. It's not to do anything. It's just to be able to get more votes, to perpetuate itself, to get more money to perpetuate itself, to be able to do. I mean, when you have Nancy Pelosi that sits there and she fought. It was only today that she finally agreed to, yeah, we probably need a law that says we can't have insider trading in Congress.
You fucking
They're just now
After they fingered her for getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $35 million worth of
From
insider,
Tesla.
well, all sorts of insider trading. It's not
well,
just
and
Tesla, but
most
it's-
members of Congress. I mean, so many of
yeah,
them.
and it's both sides of the aisle.
Thank you.
But to
It kind of really does, doesn't it?
But
Yes.
to Wendy's point, what can we do to make it better? We need to.
There is
The
no
government needs
silver
to be
bullet.
knocked down.
There is no silver bullet. So it goes.
There's
back
no one
to-
thing to make it better. It's
No,
going to
there
be a
is-
lot.
but we
I mean,
at
it's-
least need to come up with some solutions and put those solutions out there so we can start moving towards them to better things.
But
But
does-
see, if you ask me what the solution is, then I'm going to sound like a broken record again.
You want to know what my solution is?
I want to know what your solution is.
I mean, other than
Fix
you know,
my
get
chair.
rid
Hold
of
on.
the
100%
swamp
needs to
in,
be term limits. 100%. That's what 100% it
How are
comes
we going
down
to get
to.
term limits when you have the federal government in power and all their whole idea is to perpetuate themselves, so they're never going to vote in term limits? How do you fix that?
I'm not allowed to say I will get kicked off YouTube.
There is not much we can do that will get it. That
So if is so, and
I have a
don't-
cleaner
I
way
don't
to
know
do it.
anything about that. So if we
I do.
if we vote in, if we press, can we vote in term limits?
Yes, in a roundabout way.
through the
Okay.
Convention of States. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love her so much.
But I hope so. Have you seen her shirt? Come on
I
now.
know.
So if that 100% I think needs to fix the job, whether we can get there or not, or how we get there is a different thing. Because same thing, if you are in a job for only an intended amount of time, you know how long that time is.
Pause back up.
So let's say I can only do 8 years. I have to be voted back in at 4 years. So I know I'm going to get my shit done in 4 years, and 8 years I'm going to perfect it. Like that's my goal, because I know that's the longest I can stay. So once I'm in a place and I know that I'm going for the greater good, that's when things are going to start to fall into place. That's when things are actually going to start getting done. Even government jobs, I know this sounds terrible. You're only allowed to be there 20 years. Then you retire.
So
Done.
So
You don't get an option.
a convention of states, and so there was something that I was reading about. So what I had going back to what I've alluded to in the past about, if God forbid, don't let John become president, which I thought was a great episode. And if you go back and you watch it, one of the things that I advocated for was that we need to pare down the federal government. And there's something called extreme republicanism, I think, or something like that. I might be wrong on how that is, but basically the whole premise of it was that the federal government needs to be brought down to its constitutional bare bones.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And all it's supposed to do is just the basics of controlling monetary policy, controlling the military, and controlling interstate commerce. That's about it. That's about the basic of everything the federal government is supposed to do, and everything else is supposed to reside with the states. I think that's amendment, it's either the 8th or the 10th Amendment, that says that no power enumerated specifically to the government resides with the states and the people. So I have my Constitution in my bag, by the way, but that's the whole premise of it. And so that's what we need to do. So we need a convention of the states that basically sends all these people home. Those that we're going to put back in there have to have term limits,
Absolutely.
and that we need to go back and we need to start having
Reevaluating
We
everything.
need to have, balanced budget agreements. We need to have all these different kinds of things that need to be put in place based on what the people want. And it needs to be, a whole convention of states is not just some slip shot. I've heard people that have made the argument that people don't know what they're voting on. They don't know any of this kind of stuff. No, the whole idea is that, your state electorate puts together these conventioneers, and they go and they would find what the main issues are. And then they're supposed to go and vote on them.
Oh shit! Out of the country. Oh damn!
I know.
Dad's like,
He's
for
hardcore.
real. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
damn,
He's
throw them out of their
hardcore.
job.
Yeah,
And then I
he
was
wants-
like, oh, the
yeah.
country.
He-
Oh,
And Dan and I
Oh.
would, after reading so much that I did
Alrighty.
about France and how they have torn down, like I said, they're on their 5th version of their constitution because their government has failed so many times.
they're just starting over.
They start over, and they would go. There were some times where they would go and they would be a constitutional republic, and then they would turn around and they would fall in and they would become a dictatorship again. Well, a king, like Bonaparte.
Biden
that
is
was
eating
after-
ice cream.
That
Yes,
was
he is.
after. That was after
shitting
they
in
had
front of
been
the Pope.
a republic at one point. What did I miss?
Sorry. Something inappropriate
Yes,
might
that
have been
is-
said.
and Ken, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, are we ready for our contest?
Yes.
Yeah, because we're running out of time.
Running
Yeah.
out of time. We need something a little
Do we
fun.
need, do we need
Yeah, we
letters?
need
Are we
fun.
doing letters?
Yeah, we'll need letters.
Okay.
You guys can play along at home.
It's not going to be like 0.8 of a second.
No,
Right?
this is a standard quiz.
Just
All
making
right.
sure.
Here we go.
All right, quiz of the week. General knowledge.
Oh,
shit.
Nothing
boy.
general about
Oh,
it, let me
boy.
tell you.
Oh, come on. These are a smattering of questions all
Okay.
over the place.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Question
No.
1. What is the rarest M&M color?
Green.
Mm-mm.
Green, yellow, brown, or orange?
Ooh. Ooh. Shit.
I know.
And I like
It's
the fact that Lindsay sits there and she acts like she just marked it with pen. Oh shit! I didn't want
I
to
know.
know.
No, because you want to know what's hilarious, and I'll only tell you after we hear the answer.
Okay, are we ready for the answer?
Yep.
All right,
You're gonna say green.
brown.
Not
We
true,
have no
though.
winners. No, this is what I.
So I am one of those strange people that separates them because you can't eat them together. Shut up. Don't judge.
I'm judging.
You can't eat them together, and they have to be in twos. There's always a tremendous amount of yellow, green, and brown. There is never orange or red.
According to M&M, the
They're
rarest
big fat
is
liars.
brown.
Y'all are
He's
liars.
calling them out.
They
From
send
the
a lot.
OCD person who has to
Christine
separate
got
them.
it right.
Y'all are
They
liars.
send a lot of brown to Arizona. I'll have to ask them about that.
Christine got it
You
right.
do.
All right, good to know.
All right.
Fibbers.
Which singer's real name is Stefani Joanne Angelina
Oh, I know this one.
Germana?
I know this one.
Cher, Lady Gaga, Pink, or Rihanna?
I feel bad for all y'all.
I actually know this one.
Well, you shouldn't say that.
I'm gonna go with Wendy. Wow, is that really her name? Like, that's terrible.
I think I saw that somewhere.
would've changed
I
it
think on an
too.
interview
Yeah.
after the Star is born.
Are
they
you
were talking
picking?
about
Or
it.
you
Yeah.
just going
Sorry.
to talk
Are you
about
gonna
it?
pick
I'll
one or you
go
just
with.
chatting
I'll
about
agree.
it?
I'll agree.
Can I put the answer up?
Yeah.
Sure.
Lady Gaga.
Wow,
All right.
That's terrible. Yeah, abuse some more children. You'll be fine.
Where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II?
Mm,
The
interesting.
Pentagon, the Smithsonian, the Federal Reserve, or Fort Knox?
I'm gonna go with.
I don't have a clue, but you know, hey, it
Yeah.
sounds
I was
secure.
gonna say,
Oh,
it
it sounds
sounds
good.
good.
You're good though.
Ooh, it sounds like the place I'd put it. Because I'd.
There's
Fight
only
other
10 questions,
places.
by the way. Actually, 90.
We're getting
What was
ahead
the first toy advertised on TV?
getting rid of
You'll shoot
Christine's.
your eye out, kid.
Mr.
Yeah.
Potato Head, Play-Doh, Barbie, or Monopoly?
I'm going with Barbie. I don't know why.
I'm gonna say Monopoly.
LC.
We need the Jeopardy music.
Yeah.
Please
please
don't
don't do that. I may have to do that next time.
Please don't do that again. It
I don't
still
think Mr.
mysteriously
Potato Head's
pops
that
up.
Old. Play-Doh is.
Gotta pick one.
Locking my damn phone from now on.
See, I should have made this. I should have made this timed, right?
No. C.
Is that your final answer?
C.
That's her final answer. Mr.
Oh,
Potato
Christine
Head.
Taylor.
He was that
And I
old.
saw it.
Wow.
It's funny. I saw this trivia question
Damn.
came up multiple times. And it
Okay.
is without a doubt.
I didn't
Mr.
think
Potato
he
Head.
was that old.
Yeah.
Way to go, Christine.
Good job, Christine.
Yeah, good job.
How many of Snow White's 7 dwarfs have names ending in the letter
Jesus.
Y? 3, 4, 5, or 6? And Keith's kind of like, how am I going to figure that out? Do it in your head. Come
I'm not
on.
doing it
I
in
was
my
gonna
head.
say he's going through all of them now.
I already did.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. I trust Lindsay.
Don't trust me.
Oh, see, don't trust her.
Yeah.
5. Dang it. I knew
See,
there was
and
one. I
there,
didn't
just for reference, there are all
Bashful
the
and
names.
Doc. Damn it. I got to those 5 and I was like, that's fine. There'll be
It's
one
close
more.
enough.
Damn.
That's what
What
happens.
did Christine
I
say?
should have
Hold on.
gone.
Christine
I
said
should have gone
D.
to economics.
What color
and
eyes do
not
most humans have?
shit brown?
That's what I would go with.
Oh, I should put them up. Brown, blue, green, or hazel?
Brown like me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say brown.
Brown. Brown.
Woo.
Nice. Most U.S. power outages are caused by what?
By needing
Lightning,
ice cream.
snow, auto accidents, or squirrels?
I'm going to choose D just because it's funny. I'm going for it just because it's funny.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be great if that's the answer.
Is that your final answer?
Sure, why not?
All
Probably
right.
lightning.
You laugh, but actually it is squirrels.
I'm sure-
Is it really?
I'm sure it was. That's why I was like, we don't
That's
have squirrels here, but
awesome.
we also don't have a lot of power outages.
Oh, that's funny.
Which of the following does socialism directly clash with?
Freedom. My bad,
Equality,
sorry.
animals, religion, or natural resources? Clashes with one of these. Which one?
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to go
Which
with
one does it clash with?
I'm going with C, but I'm thinking
Which
wrong.
one does it clash with?
Christine
Does it
says C
clash
also.
with?
I'm going to be hilarious.
It would be funny if it's animals, but
I know this is wrong.
I don't
but
really understand.
Well, we all have one, and we don't think it's equality because they all
Yeah.
want you to equally suck. So
Religion
Religion.
does not fit in with socialism, because socialism, if you go back to, again, I did way too much research on this subject. So you go back and you look at some of the things, including like BLM, where BLM they published on their website at one point last year and then promptly took it down when they got a shit ton of pushback because they were against the nuclear family.
Hmm.
And the whole idea is that they don't want you to have, they want to separate everybody. The more you're separated, the more you want to become part of the
group.
group, the general group. If you want to be part of a church group, that doesn't work. If you want to be part of a family group, that doesn't work. You have to be part of the community.
I really wanted it to be animals.
Which country first considered socialism as a good path? France, Spain, Austria, or Australia?
Oh, this is a tough one.
That is tough.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the oddball, though.
That's because they wanted to keep away from the snakes and the spiders the size of
I'm gonna
cars.
say-
They're kind of running.
I know it's
running
wrong,
it. Australia's
but
kind
that's
of running
okay.
like it now, but
All right. So there's a two-part answer.
okay.
Literally.
So France
Ah!
considered,
Yes.
they considered it in 1879. Australia actually did it in 1899.
That was close.
Oh, so we just
France,
considered
as
it.
of today, is considered a unitary semi-presidential constitutional republic. This I actually got off Wikipedia.
What?
Say that
It
for
is-
a
it is
fast.
Yeah,
seri-
right.
I was like, I had to
A
make sure.
unitary, semi-presidential, constitutional republic.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
That
Oh
sounds
my
like you
God.
don't know what the hell you want to be.
Oh, they
It's
talk
like
about
pick one.
their whole motto is about, they want to be a republic that has social benefits, yada yada, blah blah blah. Oh my God.
Whoa.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
Nice.
Wow.
That was a fun quiz.
I
That was-
know.
that was a good
Lindsay likes the speed ones, but
No, she
No.
wouldn't. I would have been
We
screwed
did
on speed
horrible
there.
on those.
I just sat there and watched it and went, oh.
I know. It's just
Oh,
like scrolling
That's
through.
one, Ken and Angela, that you have to go back and watch. All the
Speed one.
kids know it. I bet
Yeah.
you money.
yeah.
Yeah.
All of them.
So speaking of which, if we had any new viewers on tonight, I want to thank you guys for joining in with us. We are now officially on another social media
Getter.
site. Well, we are on
Getter
Getter, but
done.
I did
Are we?
sign us up for Gab.
The Gab
Getter and
thing,
Gab.
I'm
Getter and
still
Gab.
researching Gab TV. I see that we can take 3-minute videos, and there's none of our crumbs that are 3 minutes.
No, and
No.
the problem is to get on their Gab TV, you got to pay for
That's
A
what I'm
subscription.
premium.
And
subscription
we're
or
already
whatever it
paying
is.
enough.
Gab
For
Pro.
other stuff.
Gab Pro.
Gab
Yeah.
Pro, right? So we are on Getter. We have 500 followers now on Getter.
Really?
So-
Ah,
Get her done. Keith's
And-
been getting her
I've
done.
been getting it done. Everybody likes our comments. Everybody's been, I don't want to call it retweeting because I don't know what re-getting, I guess. I don't know.
Re-gettering?
Say on there. It's like
Everybody's
Just
been
reposting. It's
re-gettering.
reposting all of our crumbs and stuff. When I post them, they repost them. So
Oh,
it's
really?
It's kind of
Oh,
cool.
okay.
So it seems like we're getting some activity out of that.
So
Interesting.
do
Cool.
that, and
Right.
then if you could, and I was
Oh,
gonna
no,
ask,
it was on tonight.
I was going to ask you later
Aw.
if you could pare down a couple crumbs to less than 3 minutes. You can put less than 3 minute videos on Gab,
We can do that.
regular Gab.
Yeah, we can throw some of that together.
So what if we do
Easily do
three
that.
3 minutes?
It maxes out at 3 minutes.
Well, no, but 3 minutes in a row.
and have it all part of the
And
same
have
You would
it all-
probably have to
Oh,
do
like
3
part
posts,
one,
but
part
yeah,
two,
we could
part
Yeah,
probably
but
do
that's what I'm
that.
saying. Do 3
Yeah.
posts all in a row real quick. And
just
then,
for them.
We could probably
Yeah,
do that.
just for
We could
those
take a look and
ones.
see how that works.
That would work.
There's always a way to get around things.
So that's cool. It's good. Good.
Yeah,
good
because our
sign.
last
We're
one was
growing.
9 minutes.
Yeah, well,
That's 3 minutes.
You know, I tried to cut it, but it was just too much content in it to cut it. It was just too good of a heated argument to cut it. All the other ones have
I
been
was
short.
not arguing.
The other ones have
But-
been about 4
Yeah.
to 5. So
So
I looked because none of them were 3 minutes.
no, it's hard because then you got to cut out the good stuff because we usually get on a tangent and it's all part of a good.
People start
Well,
talking
True,
about
yeah.
people shitting their pants, and it's terrible.
So real
Rude.
quick, I want to share a couple things.
Okay.
So we all know that Meatloaf just passed away.
Meatloaf. Yeah.
So I got this article.
Y'all are making me hungry.
Sorry. So how did Meatloaf die? While no official cause of death has been shared, TMZ reported that sources with knowledge of the moments leading up to Meatloaf's passing claimed that he was seriously ill with COVID-19 before his death. At the time of writing, it was unclear if Meatloaf was ever vaccinated against the virus. Meatloaf's family have also yet to confirm or deny these claims. During an interview with Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, published in August of 2021, he also labeled face masks as nuisance. "You're not afraid of COVID?" a reporter asked him at the time, to which he replied, "Oh, I'm scared to death. You kidding me? But I'm sorry. I understood stopping life for a while, yes, but they cannot continue to stop life because of politics. And right now they're stopping because of politics." And on CNN last night, it finally came out that masks we're all wearing are useless, but I've known that for 6 months. They don't do anything. They don't stop you from getting COVID. Later in the interview, he said, "We are being controlled by everybody," Meatloaf replied. "Yeah, I know, but not for me. If I die, I die, but I'm not going to be controlled." So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we all have a number. It's just a matter of when.
right.
God's going to take me now. Is going to take me now, whether it's Rona or not Rona.
Something else,
Right.
right.
So
We
you're
don't get
saying
to
that he
control
would-
it.
He would do anything for you, but he won't do that.
He won't do that.
Yeah, he won't do that.
He would do anything
Y'all
for COVID, but he
Y'all
won't
are
do that.
not funny.
Uh,
Not
too,
funny.
too soon.
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Okay.
We liked him.
Yeah, it hasn't been confirmed.
Now I did see
Okay.
that a couple reports, and I haven't had a chance to. Well, the autopsy isn't done, but a couple reports have said that Saget had reported COVID 3 days before he died,
Oh, really?
which I find I'm throwing a little bit of a red flag because of the fact that I'm like, well, wait a minute. He was doing a live show. He did a live show that night.
Yeah.
When he passed away.
And so I find it odd that he would be on stage if he had the Rona.
If he didn't know about it, though. So this is the thing.
That the reports say that
he knew about it. Okay, I don't think he would have.
But I'm like I said, I'm throwing a little bit of a flag on that, and I'm saying I find that hard to believe
that he would have willingly exposed that. I don't think he would have.
And I watched a video the other night that I found very interesting. It was some local news station that had it on. There was a biologist who's been doing research on COVID and just viruses in general. And it turns out there's 3 foods that they're looking into now that may actually be beneficial to helping with
Wendy
COVID.
found something.
Yeah.
Did you? So it's green tea, chocolate, dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and grapes.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
the commonality between the 3 of them is flavonoids. So apparently flavonoids do something to, and I'm going to look into this further once I read into it more, but apparently they do something to weaken the virus. So he wrote to the NIH to petition studies to look into it further. So I thought that was kind of
I don't
interesting.
think that went
cool.
anywhere.
What?
I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
I don't know. It might.
Well,
I
I
can't
came
mass
across
produce
something
grapes.
that melatonin is supposed to help.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, they've been saying that helps against viruses in general. So from the beginning, same with the vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, melatonin is good against viruses.
Are you looking for something, John?
Yes, I am. So I'm looking for a video.
You're not going to have any sound though.
I won't have any sound.
No,
Because our sound's messed up.
because the sound's not working right.
Okay.
Save it for next week.
Yeah, I was going to say
I was
next
going to
week.
say, I mean, anybody that wants to, please go and take a look at this.
Let me put it up there so they can see it. All right.
So any of you,
Oh, yes.
have you seen this?
No, but I
No.
heard it on
Oh
the
my
radio
God.
this
So watch-
morning.
So this,
Bro
this
was
poor-
like-
she gets whacked by the car. Look at the
Ooh.
guy's face. Are you there? Are you there? She is hysterical. She's down. She's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I actually had this happen once in college.
Seriously.
And he's like, and his expression doesn't change. He's like,
No.
dude.
And his expression was like, that's what happens on live TV.
Yeah.
He looked at me. He's like, "Wow, that just happened."
Wow.
I think he just shit his pants.
And she's telling the woman driving the SUV, no, I'm okay. You're so sweet. Yeah, sorry, I had this happen to me in college.
Crazy.
There you go.
It's funny, but it's not funny. Hot
Oh
Whiskey
my
and
God.
green tea. Absolutely.
Whiskey is a cure-all. That's funny, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was like, it's fine. It's fine. The lady's like, oh my God, are you okay? No, it's fine. It happened to me in college too.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
What?
It's just-
Right.
All right, we are over our time limit.
Yes, we are.
Next week, we'll continue our socialism talk.
So do your
Um,
research. Come back with us with questions if y'all got questions.
Yeah, if you guys got some questions. And please, as always, please like, share, and subscribe to our Rumble channel and our YouTube channel. Looking to build
And
both of
apparently
those
our
channels.
Getter.
Yeah,
And
if
our
it,
Getter.
well, not everybody's on Getter,
Go
not everybody's
Getter.
on Gab. So, at the very least, let's support Rumble as we've been trying to do from the beginning. Let's try to build up our subscriptions on that, and YouTube if you must, if you're a YouTuber,
If you have to.
if you have to.
But please do Rumble if you're going to do
Yeah.
YouTube as well, just because when we get kicked off YouTube, you know where to find us.
Exactly, because you know
And
that
with
the
me,
day is coming.
It'll happen.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So,
You know the day is coming.
yep.
So as always, thank you to our veterans, our healthcare workers, our police, our first responders.
Yep,
Thank you for all
absolutely.
that you do. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Good night,
See ya.
everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye.